Fire and brimstone. Fire and brimstone.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Fire and brimstone. Fire and brimstone.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
I'm convinced most women worship Satan, don't realize it. They damn sure don't follow God and don't know how to hide it. Give them too much love, they lose respect for your providing. Then stalk your social when the life they wanted starts declining. Got everything I wanted. All it took was love subsiding, and I could have a lot of sex from ladies, but it's love I've not been finding. Women will hold a grudge till death, and that's something I do not respect. Drake dropped for all the dogs, and dog got dogged the chick out when she wouldn't fetch. I feel like this is all that's left. Fire and brimstone.
Mother is the name for God on the lips of children. Eric Draven, 1994, The Crow. One of the most phenomenal movies of all time, guys. Seriously, I have a huge belief that the movie The Crow, starring Brandon Lee, God bless Brandon Lee. Let's have a moment for Brandon Lee. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and hit the notification bell. Helps with the algorithm. My man Brandon Lee died making this phenomenal movie, guys. The original Crow. Welcome to the My Witz End podcast. This your boy T Witz, artist, songwriter, performer, business owner, and I want you guys to take a moment. If you haven't seen the movie The Crow from 1994, Miramax film, you guys need to take some time. Stop this review right now. Stop. Because you're missing out. And I don't want to spoil an amazing experience for you. As you can see, had to represent, themed out a little bit if you ain't seen it. But for all of you who have seen it, I want you to just take the time to recognize that something like that is like lightning in a bottle. I'm very open. I have a idea that this new Crow coming out, starring what's his name, Bill Skarsgård, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world. I personally am kind of intrigued by the trailers because it has this John Wick meets Florida Joker type feel to it. You guys should check it out. It's worth comparing to the original. And the reason I say that is because there were two other movies, City of Angels, I think it was called, and then there was another one with Edward Furlong that was just, I don't know what he was thinking making that movie, starring in that movie. My boy. No. That wasn't the way. That was not the way. But regardless, the original one from 1994, what I think is most classic about it is that the city in itself was a character. It has a theme to it that reminds me almost of something along the lines of Batman. Darkness shrouds the city. From the beginning, it just zooms right in, spoiler alert, to the loft where Eric Draven is shot, killed, and thrown from the building. His girlfriend, soon-to-be wife at the time, Shelley, rip to Shelley. I had a big crush on her when I was a kid. I don't know if that means I have issues, but yeah. She ended up being brutally assaulted and then killed herself. And what I think makes the movie so memorable is when you see him rise from the grave. So okay. Let me take it a step back. So first of all, the theme is that there's a crow that takes his soul and allows him to re-enter animation, to come back into the real world, I guess you could say, the human world, the physical world. And he comes back in agony and pain, body more, disfigured and morphing to come back together. And even for the time, for 1994, the effects hold up. They hold up really well, y'all. Y'all got to check this out. The Crow. Amazing. And even though there's two movies that came after it, I think that you're not touching the cinematography of this movie. The gothic meets the edginess. The soundtrack was amazing. I think Nine Inch Nails gets played in the movie. This movie was before The Matrix It was before, you can say that it has elements from Batman 89 because that was before this movie, but it uses those elements really well. And when you watch this movie, I want y'all to keep one thing in mind. This was the birth of a lot of superhero movies. The acting was so in-depth. Like I said, Brandon Lee died making this movie. And if y'all really, really think about it, I know when I think about it, his father was a living legend. And he was right on the path to be one right after him. Definitely. He had the moves in this. I mean, he's not Bruce Lee, but he was kicking ass in this movie. And the aesthetics hold up really well today, even the little bit of CGI that I think was used. But the Crow brought his spirit into this world, and then he sought revenge on all the guys that killed he and his girlfriend. Simple plot, but it gets deep. It gets really good. He has allies that he knew before dying that remember him and know him for who he is when he comes back. And I gotta tell y'all something. One of the best aspects about this movie is how he's a musician. I can relate to that, but I feel like everybody can relate to this man. Everyone can relate to being snatched away from a situation that you really, really were in love with, and having to find the strength to face it if you're given the opportunity to face it. Because just because he was brought back to life doesn't mean that he instantly might have wanted revenge. It drove him in this movie. Every breath of him, leading to the very end when the antagonist finds a weakness of his, because he's immortal. That's a dope edge he has in this. He's immortal. He kicks ass. He's immortal. He dressed in all black. He had the sick Joker theme down before we ever got the Dark Knight. And you cannot tell me that the scene where he walks in and he sees Top Dollar, who's the bad guy. There's lots of bad guys, but he's the bad guy of bad guys in this. He walks in and sees all of his crew, and he hits him with the gentleman. You can't tell me that wasn't inspiration for gentlemen. The way that my guy Heath Ledger adapted that. That's how you know that this is legendary. I know Heath Ledger drew inspiration to some degree for his Joker from this. And guys, seriously, amazing movie. 10 out of 10 for me. Another thing that was really sick. You had a black man who was a cop and got demoted because of trying to help this rocker, this rock star that he knew. And I don't even do the race card thing, but I say black man because it showed you that back in the day, race didn't have to be the theme of the movie to prove that we could get along and work together and to have a sense of community. There were multiple races in this movie. There was an Asian woman, there was a black man, there was white people, and none of that mattered. It was the fact that they all came together as human beings, and there was a common goal. It was either to kill Eric Draven because he was back from the dead seeking revenge, or it was to help Eric Draven because we love him and we know how he was brutally murdered. Sick. Why do we not have so much? Why can't we get a movie like this these days, guys? Now, I don't know what the new movie is going to hold. I'm curious to see. Skarsgård is a dope actor. No Diddy. He has the body for this movie. Okay? Let's all put that out there. He looks great. He looks great physically. No Diddy. But I'm not feeling the way that they did his mask, his paint. Maybe I think they're trying to, based on what I saw in the trailer, they're trying to go for more of the paint maybe comes onto his face on some spiritual, undead type stuff. But if that's not the case, I don't like the design of the paint. It reminds me too much of Jared Leto's Joker, reminds me too much of stuff we've already seen. And they could have easily just kept the theme from the back in the day, even though they should have just made him a whole new character. I personally feel like using the name Eric Draven and Shelley Webster was a mistake. We know who they are. Eric got his revenge. He's at rest now. Why would you bring him back and give him a tattoo over his nipple? Why would you do that? It's not necessary. It wasn't needed. And, he has this all-seeing eye on him. Guys, Hollywood. Let me say something to y'all. I'm an independent creator. I have great people I work with. They're helping to shoot this very episode. Your audience matters. People matter. And if people don't like what you're putting out, if you have an understanding that what you're putting out isn't what everybody's into, maybe try to do something people actually want and like. That's just my thoughts on it. Enjoy the Acura experience at any budget. When you choose a certified pre-owned Acura from Rosenthal Acura, you can expect the same leading standards as a new Acura. Each certified pre-owned Acura comes with a 12-month, 12,000-mile certified limited warranty, as well as a 24-hour roadside assistance service. And you can be sure that your certified pre-owned Acura is in pristine condition. Every single eligible certified pre-owned Acura must pass a 182-point inspection and will include a vehicle history report. Choose a certified pre-owned Acura at Rosenthal Acura and tell them T. Witz sent you. My Witz End Podcast, your boy T. Witz. I want to shout out my little bro, God rest his soul, Terrence Nino Whitaker, a.k.a. the Little Man. I want to say he put me onto the best movies. And his track record with putting me onto movies was just unbeatable. I have seen some of the dopest movies thanks to my little bro, and The Crow was one of them. We used to dress up and put on our little black jackets and run around the crib, hanging off of the banisters and jumping around, trying to protect everybody from demons that didn't exist. And what I love is that it's a superhero, even though the movie's rated R, The Crow, 1994, Brandon Lee, there is something about it that young boys, young people who are into action will always be able to hold on to. There wasn't complex choreography in the movie. There's a lot of gun violence, true, but you know, just that classic cowboy western of the little guy who's trying to, you know, take everybody down, who's doing injustices to everybody else. It's classic. It's Batman. And if you like Batman, you're going to love The Crow, especially for the aesthetic, for the time frame it came out in. And I'm a big fan of it. The My Witz End podcast is an amalgamation of ideas. It's different people. We're going to be throwing interviews back to back with good people, business owners, musicians, who can help others learn skills, be put onto information. You only know as much as you know. And I'm the type of person that values learning, and I value not being the smartest person in the room. I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. And it's not necessary to be. And you don't have to be either. So subscribe to the My Witz End podcast. That's T.Witz on YouTube, TDOTWITZ. We have sponsorship with Hot Music 365. Shout out my guy Trills. Yes sir. Shout out my guy Romulus. He's the CEO. And they're backing what we're doing over because we have so many people in this world who recognize that this is the information era. And if each one can teach one, then altogether we can be one, you know? And that's just how I try to look at it. And this movie, I will be revisiting. I watched it myself last night. I'm going to watch it again tonight. And when the one with my guy Skarsgård comes out, which I don't think the trailers look horrible. I really don't think they look awful. I just think that they could have not used Eric Draven and Shelby Webster. That wasn't a very good idea. But like, if this guy's name was like Dylan, that'd be fine. Dylan Cruz and Michelle Fabrics. That's all you would have needed. You change those names and this movie instantly becomes way more attractive. You know, it looks modern. You know, there's no woke elements to it that I can see, but it does look a little John Wick meets Florida Joker. And that's cool. We're going to see how it turns out. We're going to revisit it, and I'm going to do a review on that. Check out my review on The Batman. I wasn't the biggest fan of that movie, but check it out. It's available. Subscribe to your boy T. Witz, and get to know me a little bit. We're going to keep doing these episodes. Shout out to my guy Trip over with his company Asterix. You guys have, you got to plug in with good people. And when you plug in with good people, you start to understand the value of relationships. And when you understand the value of relationships, what does that mean, guys? What does that mean? I'll give you a second. It means that you can't fail because other people won't let you fail. And with that being said, it's your boy T. Witz, Tribe Training Entertainment. Got some new music coming out. Holler at you guys later. My Witz End Podcast.